True. What are you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Oh, we're actually live now.
You never know.
I don't know.
I'll explain to the viewer what I've been doing to Liam for the past 5 minutes. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about talking it out in Warhammer 40,000. Should you be able to talk out a game? So rather than playing it and rolling the dice, you just kind of go, well, that's going to happen, that's going to happen, and that's going to happen. Liam and I are going to return to a slightly older format, and I'm going to ask Liam how his week in Warhammer was. He's going to do the same. Then I'm going to show him something completely bizarre off Reddit, and then we're going to jump into the
Reddit
subject.
What a surprise.
What a
Bizarre
surprise.
on Reddit.
Who would have thought something weird on Reddit? What a surprise. And then, my friends, we will be doing an After Dark for our members, where we're going to be talking about the team event from the weekend, some other stuff that I don't even want to mention on this stream.
Oh, I don't know about
Because
this.
it will raise suspicions. Know what we were just talking about before.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh.
If you're a member of the show, then you can
Wink, wink,
join
nudge,
via
nudge.
the description. Yeah, that was a wink, wink. You can join by clicking the link in the description below. We have merged with Incursion Strategy, and now we have every single week strategy videos being imported over from that channel for members only. It's awesome content. So anyone who joins as a member today, not only have you got like 30 members videos of me and Liam doing rather live After Darks.
The one last week was spicy.
The one last week was came with
Someone messaged me afterwards and was like, wow.
The one last
That
week
went
came with a
off the
warning.
rails.
Yeah, I was like, that one was quite lively. But yeah, Luke is basically moving over all the members only strategy content from Incursion to Epic Flail. So
Nice.
there's just tons and tons of videos that are going on there. There's all sorts. So go check that out. Go check out videos of Liam and I. Many of them I do consider deleting on a
Captain Fridge
Captain
is
Fridge
here.
here.
Where's
Is that
he come
Ross
from?
or someone trolling me from the weekend? We
I
had
don't
we
know.
had a few conversations about Fringe. And Luke's joined us in the chat as well. Hello, Luke, my friend. Hope you are keeping well. Liam,
Yes.
how's your week in Warhammer?
Oh, it was
An
good,
old
mate.
segment.
I played my first league game in the Brighton League. Came away with a 1-point victory against Grey Knights.
These 1 pointers are common, aren't they?
Mate, this Nexus is so different now because you're not just like guaranteed 5 points off of 2 secondaries constantly. Like getting like 2 5-point
Yeah.
cards. Like
Oh,
even the cards that were originally 5 points are now 4, a lot of them. And they're harder to get.
It's a lot better, isn't it?
I think it's making for closer games.
Yeah, the last one would really do my head in. I found it the last set where you would draw a card and just be like,
Oh, there's 10 points and I haven't had to do anything. Let's just carry on with my turn and do whatever I want to do without actually having to try and interact with the game in any way, shape or form. And what made it worse was when you had like people taking fixed and they were like, I can do this on fixed and I don't actually have to do anything to interact with you, but I'll just max secondary and there's nothing you can do about it.
that was like Harvey's demon list.
Yeah, just going to take deploy teleport homers and
It's up.
yeah.
Put it over there. Put that there. Put that there. And that's it. You're like, all right, okay. Is this 40k or are we just like some kind of placement puzzle?
Some like 4D chess.
Yeah.
But to be fair though, I've watched Harvey play that list and the actual concentration it needs to take to play that list and not just completely balls it up is
big time. Oh yeah, yeah. That side. Yeah, that side.
ridiculous, mate. Like I looked at it and I was like, nope, not for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what you're
Harvey's
doing.
a monster.
Mate,
Harvey will eat you alive.
Oh yeah,
Harvey's
I
like,
haven't played him for that exact reason.
yeah,
I don't want to
play
get beaten.
Don't play Harvey.
I just don't want to lose.
Don't play Harvey. Yeah. Harvey's gonna like come out of the King and Queen in a few years and just be devouring people. At the
Oh yeah,
tournament
be
scene.
absolutely
Like,
monstering people at super majors and stuff.
He's an absolute machine.
How was your weekend, Warhammer?
I thought you were gonna not say. I thought I was gonna have to be like, oh, here we go. I forgot that Liam never asks the question. It was good, mate. Yeah, I was doing the team event, which we're going to talk about in the After Dark.
Yeah.
Good games, good fun
5
games.
solid games of Warhammer.
5
you got
solid
in.
games of Warhammer over 2 days. Yeah, it was mint. Highly recommend Incursion events, team events.
I need
It was
to-
much fun.
I'm doing the ITC, the International Team Tournament, coming up in St Albans.
Nice.
So that should be pretty intense.
That'd be a tickler.
Yeah.
The thing that was, well, in fact, I'm going to talk about the members. I'll talk about the members thing. There's two of my opponents are in the chat. We're going to talk about you in the After Dark.
Yeah, we'll see.
Here we've got Hobbit on hold. Jumping in and seeing this title. Quick take. I hate talking it out. Just play unless your opponent's in tears. There we go.
Well, no, even if they are in tears,
Hobbit-
just keep kicking them, no? Oh, is that not what it's about, no?
Hobbit on hold. No, that's what it's about.
Hobbit on hold.
Hobbit on hold. Currently the best name of the show so far.
On hold for what?
That's why it's a good name because he's keeping us on hold and
He's on tenterhooks. Do you want to explain to people what you've just done to for 5 minutes before we started?
So basically, before the show starts, there's a technical issue. With
it's not a technical issue. It's just you like pushing buttons. I don't believe it's a technical issue.
Honestly, you can't see what I see on this side.
I can't see what you see anyway, mate. Just generally in live.
No one sees what I see. Basically, I press start the show, but it never starts. I have to constantly get ready for it to start. So the reason the past few shows have basically been Liam being like, "What are you doing?" I think 3 shows in a row have started by you being like, "What are you doing? Like, what is going on?" It's because I'm doing this.
Yeah, just constantly for 5 minutes. And I think you've got OCD, or you're trying to do a remix or something. You're not
just
Craig.
A grotesque postmodern psyop.
Yeah, you're not Craig David, mate. There's no need for a remix.
We're just normal men.
We are just normal men. What's this person said? Epic Flail trying to...
Drinking and winging it out a better rule set. Try to rule drinking and winging it out a better rule set. Tiderman's a good lad. He's a very strong contributor to the old world chat.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I'm going to read some of your comments out later, matey, because you had some good reflections in general chat.
Someone almost cried talking out the last game yesterday.
Right. Well, that's a dig at me from Rob.
Is that you getting?
I didn't. No. Listen. We'll talk about this the members thing, but it wasn't. I didn't cry.
I didn't cry. Just pooling tears in the corner.
I just quite bluntly said to Tom Hampshire, if talking out results in me losing this game, I'm not going to be happy. And Tom was like, "We'll see." And I'm like, anyway.
We'll see. Well, no, that's not the idea of talk. The idea is that we play the game of Warhammer.
It was like, we'll see. Liam, tell us what. Oh no, what show something? Watch this, guys.
Yeah.
Look at this. Right, what do you think?
What is this?
Got a live reaction.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna move it over here, and I'm gonna move it to the chat. I want you.
What the hell?
Yeah. No, lads, look at this.
Is this Bubbas?
Have you seen this? Look at this.
I have. Of course, I haven't seen it. I don't dive into Reddit.
Look, this is very strange occurrence on Reddit.
First Tyrannid. Recently finished a Tyrannid. As he called it, a Thick-litor.
Look at this.
A Thick-litor. As in it's thick.
Yeah.
As in thick with 2 C's.
Yeah, exactly that. Look at this.
Mate,
how do you feel? How does this make you feel? I found it quite unsettling.
I'm not sure if I like it or loathe it. I think I hate it.
It gets better.
Oh, he's got a booty on it. Why has he put a booty on it?
What kind
of madman spends that much time modelling a booty out of green stuff?
If someone put this on our hobby section of the Discord, I'd be like, what's your address?
Serial killer. Why?
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
Why has he done that? Is he doing a whole army like that?
It's a bit creeps. He was just like, he just put someone on Reddit being like, what's everyone make to this? Everybody likes it.
What's people saying? I bet someone's like, oh, have you got any close-ups of the boobs? I really like those.
If I pay you 60 quid a month, will you paint one of them every month and send it to me?
Yeah, sort of chat.
I like this. I like the guardsman's like, ugh.
I thought that was a bit of fun. A bit of a light-hearted start. We used to start the show in a very... Luke said that's enough internet for one day.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
And put that back in the bin.
Liam, explain to us what this whole concept of talking it out is, because as someone who played historically a game that should not be mentioned and cannot be mentioned on the channel, very unusual. Very unusual.
What, talking
concept.
it out?
Yeah, like what is that?
Whenever there's 2 reasons for talking a game out that I've experienced. Is one, you're running out of time. Like you're running out of time. You get to turn 4, and you're looking at the board state. You got 15 minutes left, and you're like, right, there's no way we're finishing this game. What we've got to do is go, I think that kills that on the law of averages. I think that kills that. I do this secondary. Right, you draw your 2 cards. Right, you've drawn that. You'd get 10 points for that. But you'd move here. You do that. Right, my turn 5. I draw those 2 cards. And you basically try and work the game out mathematically based on what you draw and what you think would kill on average.
With no dice rolling.
No dice rolling at all.
Sometimes I have seen taking it out. Why do I keep saying taking it out?
Taking it out? Who are you taking
What is
out?
wrong with my brain? You know when one of those things gets cemented in my brain on the show and that's it, I'm
Taking
locked
it out.
Talking it out. I've seen people do it where there are some dice rolls that would have been important. So it's like, yeah, you could do that. You could. Okay, so see if you do that.
Yeah.
And that, or if you advance and get on that objective, you score that.
Oh,
so,
yeah, with like an
rather than going,
advanced
well,
roll
the
or
average is 3.5.
No, with like a dice roll, then yeah, like if it's an advanced roll, or a battle shock test, if you're going to actually roll the bat, you wouldn't go, I think they passed the battle shock test. It's fine. On average, they'd pass the battle. No, roll the battle shock test.
So sometimes when it's a little bit of a crunchy roll,
but you're not going to go
it's
right.
rolled.
I'm going to roll 10d6 blast against your unit of 5 cultists and see what happens. You're just like, well, that should kill that. Really.
That's dead on average.
That's dead on average. So let's just pick that up.
But there is an irony in the important rolls. So they're kind of like, oh yeah, that unit dies on average. That's fine. But what I've noticed is when it gets to kind of a scenario, a part of the scenario, if we ever get this objective, then suddenly people get quite like, that bit's got to be talked out. So it's this weird kind of like, I'm cool with some things.
Yeah.
But others,
I've never talked out a game when it's actually been important. Like I've never got to that point. And this was my other bit, the only time I've talked out a game, or the only couple of times, is when someone is getting absolutely smashed.
Oh, and it's just a case of like,
and it's just a case of, well, you're going to score 100.
End it now.
Yeah, you're going to score 100. Let's see what I get. Oh, so I've drawn. Oh, it's my turn too. I'll just draw 8 cards and see what I get. And let's call that 15 points. I got 30. You got 100. Great. Let's just go and have a beer. Like, I've done that before. I did that at Beachhead. I got absolutely pumped. And like turn 2, I was like, might as well just go and have a beer, mate. Completely no point in us carrying this game on. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time. I was like, you're going to get 100. Let's just say I score 30. And we drew some cards. We were like, yeah, it's cool. Let's go and get a beer.
I guess in those scenarios, it's talking it out just to end a situation. Someone's kind of like, if you're talking it out and it's like absolutely black and white.
Yeah.
It's like, look, listen, mate, you're like 30 points up. Just, it's fine. That feels slightly different.
That's almost conceding over.
Yeah, it's kind of like, look, mate, you've won.
Yeah.
I don't mind stopping at this point.
Yeah.
But just so you can get the best score, you know what I mean? Just to be fair and not do you over. Let's try it out. That cards. Feels slightly different to, we're running out of time. Shall we talk it out? And I know there's a few. I don't know, like name names because we don't know.
No, but the worst time for that is when you have someone that's like almost slow playing, or playing like
purposefully, kind of like
or playing a horde army that takes a lot of, and you're like, have you done the thing where you're playing someone? You're like, I've got 3 hours to finish this game, right? They're playing a horde army. I'm not. But like they're taking ages on their turn. And I feel like I need to like speed up and play just to get in the time. And you're like, why am I speeding up? I'm the one that then makes mistakes.
Ross at the weekend.
Here, turn this off. I can't see the chat a second.
Oh, sorry, mate. Let me close that. So I played Ross' first game at the weekend. And we were like, sorry, I forgot you couldn't see the chat. And we were like, I don't know, an hour and a bit into the game. And Ross was like, mate, we're running out of time. Honestly, and I was like, hey, listen, pal, I'm playing quick here. I'm making decisions. Stuff's happening. He was like, nah, we're gonna have to be snappy, mate. I was like, all right. So I start going quick, and then Luke walks past, and Ross goes, how long we got? And Luke's like, about an hour and a half. Oh, Ross, sorry, Paul. I'm like, whoa, here we go, mate.
So
playing the mind games, Ross.
One of the best games I've ever watched on the stream was the first Incursion event me and you streamed.
Yeah,
and me and you, and it was Ross against James Shapiro.
Yeah,
and honestly, watching Ross just absolutely wind him up the whole time was just hilarious because the geezer couldn't get, like, James could not get it in his head that he was winding him up as well. That was the best bit. And then Ross just kept looking over at us, like, winking. And I was like, mate, you're literally like, killing him here. Yeah. It was so funny.
That was funny. I'm going to read some stuff out from the chat. Ginger Steve, how are you not a member considering you give out about 6,000 memberships every stream? Ginger Steve is like one of the biggest donators of the channel.
Oh,
he's
really?
Not a member. You're making everyone other than you a member, Ginger Steve.
Where is he?
He's there. I don't know. He's there. Where are you? Howling's with us. Howling, Jimmy Jefferson. So we kind of covered what it is. Yeah. We've given some examples of it. I'm going to read some of the chat and pull out some comments, but like, why? So if someone's getting smashed,
fine,
understandable.
Yeah, just write that
understandable. Is the only other environment in which you're going to find yourself in a talking it out situation at a tournament when you've basically run out of time. It's basically someone's gone around and been like, listen, there's like 10 minutes, and you go, we're on turn 3. We're not going to finish it in 10 minutes. This is our only option. Because if this is why talking it out is the thing, what I'm interested in is what's the alternative to that. So let's say me and you are playing.
Yeah.
We've got 20 minutes left. We're in turn 3, bottom of 3. We're never going to finish to the end of the game. It's close. And you go, let's talk it out. And I go, do you know what, mate? I'd rather just play. What's that road? Where's that take us?
Just get zeroed, mate.
Double loss.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to. I think
lads
some
in
of
the
boys
chat go.
know.
Yeah, give us the different.
I don't know if you both get zeroed if you don't agree on the score. I think you both get zeroed. So if we got to like the middle of turn 4 and you were like, and it was say, I don't know, 65 to 70, and it's the middle of turn 4, and we're like, well, let's talk it out, and you're like, no, I don't want to talk it out, I want to play. And you're like, well, we've run out of time, mate. Like we can't play, and you don't want to talk it out and agree the score. Then I think you both just get zeroed.
So what's hilarious about Warhammer at a competitive time is you could be like, you're coming down with me.
Yeah, I'm burning the whole place, mate.
Yeah, you could be like, do you know what, mate? It's turn 3. We've got an hour left.
Burn it down.
But you're coming down with me. I'm taking my time. This
I
ship
guess
is
that
sinking.
when you say it like that, that
like
obviously can't be what happens. That can't be what happens.
Because that could be like, imagine you came across like first round against like a really well-known player, and you're like, do you know what, mate?
You're fucked. Oh, sorry.
I'm worried.
Let's look him straight in the eyes and go, mate, you're done.
Did you see how the stream on Thursday, we did a battle report here?
Yeah.
It was absolute chaos. We were like popping Prosecco. So I like, the
All
stream
right,
started.
champagne lifestyle.
The stream started, I was doing a member section, then Guy came in the chat, and Guy was like, I'm having a bottle of Prosecco, lads. And I was like, so are we. So I just went and got some Prosecco from downstairs, came up, chilled it in the freezer. Stream started. So it's like literally, I pressed the button, the stream started. And I walked round to like, it's like introduce the show. Walked round, camera came on, bottle of Prosecco man, fell over.
Obviously.
Like, and then Tom dropped an F-bomb, and that was the start. That was literally, YouTube has not circulated it at all. It's just like me shouting, falling, F-bomb. Like, what?
Oh my God.
Let's read some of the chats. I'm interested in, there's loads and loads of chats, so I'm going to read through some. There's quite a lot of people saying about chess clock further up, so
that's what we're going to get onto, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna wind down onto chess clock. I want people to tell us what happens if you both just.
If you both can't, what happens, guys?
Right,
People
like,
that play more tournaments than me.
Hey Ali, thanks for joining us, mate.
What happens?
Tom's here as well.
If neither of you will agree on the score and you run out of time. I mean, you've got to be some sort of.
I mean, does that? Maybe we're just being sort of like. It's just.
Are we just being facetious
maybe that
now?
never. Maybe that like never happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like genuinely.
Tom says if you can't agree the game, it just stops and scores stay as they are.
Yeah, but you
so maybe
you
if
could
you're
purposely do that to win.
Yeah, you could be up and you could be. Yeah, it's like.
You could be like,
end of
just
turn 1.
Move my land fort. No, not happy with that. Moving back. No.
Yeah, they just go.
Ooh.
Oh, there's an important call coming in, mate.
Oh yeah.
I'll be back. And just drift off.
Slide out.
Just like.
Just be like, and I'm going to shoot my bolters, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot the 2 bolters. I'm going to shoot them separately. So let's roll 3 dice to start with. Are you shooting the same target? Yes, I am. Why are you rolling them separately? Because I want to. Like,
if I ever play one of those GW employees at a tournament, you just like, that's when you take them down with him.
Yeah,
like,
you are coming down. I'm literally rushing the board turn 3.
Yeah. Play tester, are you?
And just hold everything.
Yeah.
All the primary, lose your whole army apart from like 2 units, and then just spent like the next hour just moving a Sagittar backwards and forwards, being like, never going. It's like that guy in Family Guy, you know, the greased up, deaf, naked guy. Never gonna catch me. Just like that, just moving stuff around. Never gonna catch me.
You sit down and you go, mate, just a couple of things before we start. I've got explosive diarrhea.
Got a weeping back.
Yeah,
We've got a weeping back. He's back. Old weepy back's back.
Maybe that was his technique all along.
Maybe that's what he thought. Maybe
People
he thought,
don't know.
this fella.
This is from the time Liam played someone with a weeping back, like started like was late to the table. His back literally
back
like
was leaking,
seeping things out of it. You could be like, I've got explosive diarrhea, severe anxiety, and I've actually lost a shoe. So like,
I've lost the
if you don't mind, I might have to just nip away from the table briefly.
Do you know, like, I need to go shoe zone, but I can't go to the one locally because a load of really far right people have like trashed it.
Yeah,
so I actually need to jump in the car and like hop over to
Yeah.
the next town, go shoe zone.
But you do your movement.
You do your movement.
When
but
people
no
say that.
advances. I want to see the advance rolls.
You do your movement. I'll be fine with the rest. Guys saying weepy back on the bingo card. We've mentioned the weepy back a few times, but it's a classic. It's an absolute classic tournament moment. Ali says, if I'd a quid for every time we talked a game at conclusion, I would have retired years ago. I think if it's like a casual... ultimately,
we're not
if it's your
talking about-
personal time
Yeah.
and you're hanging it, I guess it would annoy me a bit. I don't know, if like you'd gone to the club and you were having a practice game or you just wanted to test a list out
Yeah.
and it was like game turn 3 and someone said, oh, do you know what, you're going to win this. Could we just leave it there? And you're like, well... Yeah, I mean, if you want, I'm not going to like put you through an experience you don't want. Like, I want a consensual game of Warhammer. You want someone to be like, I don't want to play this game. No, don't. I'm not.
I'm worried.
Yeah,
Be careful.
I think they'd be as well,
Careful.
Paul, if you're coming
Careful.
at them
With
with an
I'm a scat man.
Where was that?
What
come
happened
from?
there? I forgot that.
What is that? Paul's
I'm a scat man.
what?
There we go. That's the
Paul
second.
forcing people to unconsensual games of Warhammer.
Yeah, but
We're
no,
playing Warhammer. Put your models on the table now. Roll those dice.
Georgia,
Georgia, get up. G3PO, get up here now.
get the Tyranids out.
We're having an unconsensual
You know,
game of Warhammer.
I'm going back to my ADHD ways, going off subject. When we were doing the stream at the weekend, they were all slagging off my models. Not at the week, on Thursday. I had Tom and Tim round, a pair of them, saying these models all look rubbish. My Magnus Cal guy laughing at me. I didn't consent to that. I said, excuse me, gentlemen. I didn't invite you round to my house
I've
for
invited you round and got you
this
Prosecco.
kind of feedback.
And you're here slagging my
Cheeky.
Marnius off.
Nurgle Matthews says, Scatman is like, how are you not a member either? You gift about bazillion memberships. All you, the biggest gifters. I wanted to read a comment then. Tom Green said, UKTC, you get zeroed. And Ginger Steve says, you both have to agree. So there's a persistent talk from the chat about chess clocks. And I hear this every time we talk about
I don't
anything.
understand them.
But we've been through the chess clock thing.
But mate,
And so Ross, I think it was Ross said a second ago, it's why he has a chess clock or takes a chess clock. But how does that actually fix it? Because
yeah.
does someone run out? Does it run out
someone-
and then you're literally like, as per the rules,
I think
you've
if
now
you're-
lost? Or is it
but-
more of a gentleman's agreement
No,
type
but
thing?
say I think it's different, isn't it? If you were like, if you're 2-2 at a 5, you're 2-2. Last game on the Sunday, you know what you can do? Go 3-2 or 2-3, and your opponent's like, oh, we're in turn 5, but I've got 2 minutes left, and you've got plenty of time left in the round. You're going to be like, well, let's just play it out, aren't you? If it's the difference between a golden ticket or not a golden ticket, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're
It's
enforcing
different.
that time, aren't
It's
you?
a different vibe.
If you've run out of time and I win because you've run out of time and I'm going Vegas, I'm going Vegas, baby.
He's going shopping.
Yeah, I'm going shopping.
I'm going. And it ain't looking in windows.
Nah,
It's
mate.
like-
I'm calling my mate that was there last time, Green Hummer, mate. I'm getting picked up. Have I not told you this
You've
story?
got a mate called Green Hummer?
No, I've
Oh,
got a
you
mate
mean
who
Green
turns
Hummer.
up in it. It's called Jeff. Turns up in a Green Hummer, picks you up at the airport, mate. Took us to the beach party. Took us to the pool party.
What, in Vegas?
Yeah. Went to the pool party at the Cosmo, mate. I'll tell you a story.
It's
There's an
after
after,
dark,
there's an
it's after
after
dark,
dark
it's after
story to that.
Pool story after dark.
Yeah.
I got some theories as to like why this is a thing in Warhammer 40,000. Because I do think we've covered the two scenarios, haven't we?
Mm.
Sometimes you end up just wanting a game to end because
Yeah.
you've lost quite heavily, or maybe you're tired, or I don't know. There's a whole bunch of reasons as to why you go, do you know what, mate? Should we wrap this one up? That, I think, is completely fine every day of the week. No one should be forced to sit and play a game when they don't play a game.
Yeah.
You want to go, do you know what, mate? I'm done. You work the scores out in your favour. I'm really
Yeah.
chill. Off. Fine. It's that kind of like, things are getting a bit tight. This is not good. That I think the community and GW should try and create either a rule system, a tournament pack. Yeah, either those two. I think that's the only thing. So a rule system or a tournament pack that stops that happening. Because all these like tension points that exist in Warhammer 40,000 around some of the things we have an ongoing theme we're talking about on the show, like take backs.
Yeah.
Just general measurement and lack of widgets. It all comes from the fact that the hobby is full of people that play the game for all different reasons. And the hobby itself, the game itself, is played for a huge spectrum of reasons, from ultra casual, a dad's just bought his son his first Warhammer 40,000 set, and they're just going to paint and play
I'm just
some
going to
games.
move my tank around.
Yeah,
and
and
make
it's just like, do you know what, son? This is just a bit. You have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Do your thing. All the way through to like golden ticket style. You know, they're like really the sort of sharper side of it. So it's played for all these different reasons. But a result of that is the rules packs, and to some extent even tournament packs, sort of skirt around that a bit. So the chess clocks. Why not just make chess clocks mandatory at every table?
I think
it would never happen.
I think I've seen packs where it says chess clocks are mandatory, but then no one enforces the fact that they are mandatory. I seem to remember Beachhead was like that. Beachhead was like, chess clocks are mandatory. Then you turned up and like people were like, do you want to play on the clock? And everyone's like, I'm not really that fussed.
That's the other side of it, isn't it?
Because I think then just carry it. Let's not bother.
From the game that I'm not allowed to mention, people slagging me off in the chat in here, by the way. I'm going to address some of these comments. Tom Hampshire, consider yourself an eye on you. And Ross, the other eye is on you. And Vic VJ, welcome to chat, my friend. You're a much welcome voice in the discussion. Let us know what you think and what your thoughts are.
Well, you know who Vic is, don't you?
I know who Vic is.
Okay, no, I'm just making sure that...
Why?
No, I'm just saying, do you know who he is? He's not a scat man.
Vic's ridiculous.
Yeah, one of the best players in the country.
Vic knows the score.
Yeah. So it'd probably
Vic's
actually be quite a good thing for him to actually say what his views on talking it out are. He's probably played at a different level of table than we're discussing.
Vic, drop your thoughts in the chat, my friend, and people are excited you're in the chat. Thanks for joining
It'd be amazing if it wasn't actually him. If it's just someone that's literally...
It's random.
Just random generated his name. Or someone's like, I'm going to troll these boys. I'm going to pretend to be Vic.
It's Brandon. Brandon's like, I can't join the chat tonight. So here's the thing, like imagine you're at Beachhead.
Yeah.
And you've done all right in your first game. You've won a game, but you just want to have 5, 6, 7, whatever great games. I remember probably 7 at Beachhead. Is it?
Yeah, 6 at Beachhead.
Right. And someone goes, "Do you want to play on a chess clock, mate?" I reckon the overwhelming majority of people would go, "Probably not." I'm probably going to err on the side of I don't really want to play on the chess clock.
So this is exactly what happened to me at Beachhead. I flew too close to the sun. I won my first 2 games by like 100 whatever, and I ended up playing the fella from Team England, the one that we mentioned quite a lot. And I was like turned up to the table, and he was like, "So we're going to play on a chess clock?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I said, "If you want to, mate. Like I'm not really that fussed." Like he was like, "No, we're playing on a clock because I'm practicing." And I was like, "Okay, cool." That was then preceded by the throwing the Team England
and then
mats on. Do you know, like full trying to like alpha someone? You're like, okay, cool, man. Like you do you.
And then he completely did you on the scenario by switching
the sides of the board as well, and then just absolutely obliterating me. And that's when we were like, I was like, mate, like I said to him, like, there's no point messing around with the clock. There's no point us playing this out.
Yeah.
You've won. You've absolutely smashed me. Like, I'd rather just stop.
I'm good. Good game. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd rather actually. Do you know what I'd rather do, mate? It's to spend 20 minutes just picking your brains a little bit on like movement and stuff like this and what I could have done differently, rather than this weird scenario where you're just going to keep smashing me and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, no, let's just try and move this one custody behind this bit of terrain and see if I can hold primary in turn 4 for 5 points.
I think those sort of situations are different. I think they're kind of like, I want this game to end is one thing, but the only time the talking it out thing becomes an issue is at upper table.
Yeah. When
the result matters, when we're talking about top thirds or we're talking about like best in factions or whatever else. That's when it gets a little bit touching, a little bit intense. And I think the rules setup doesn't protect the players in avoiding that situation. And I think when we talked about chess clocks previously, it was really split. There were a bunch of people that were like, chess clocks are great. They make sure you stick to time. They avoid these awkward interactions. They're really good. But then other people, myself included, highlighted how Warhammer 40,000 doesn't lend itself to a chess clock. Right. Because there is so much. It's not chess. There is so much back and forth and discussion. And can I ask you that rule? And what about this rule? And
your combat. Just going, your time. Oh, sorry. It's like me going, right, Paul. So it's on my time. Paul, you're playing Tyranids. Can you just talk me through the Lictor's special rules? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, your time, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, this is the rules. And I'm like, okay, cool. Right, back on my time. Tell me about the Screamer Killer. What does the Screamer Killer? Your time. And you're like,
it doesn't lend. I don't think you can do it. So the next thing, when you come to that realization, you're like, okay, do you know what? Warhammer 40,000 isn't really set up for the chess clock.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit. It doesn't really work with a chess clock. It's not chess, and it's not other games that shall be mentioned where the rules are a little bit more tighter. The next solution is like, well, let's create a rule set where you minimize the questions between the players, and you create a rule system where there's interaction, and I'm doing stuff in your turn, and I feel like I've got agency. There's CP that I can. There's a resource that I can engage with and spend, which is why CP is nice, because it gives in your turn I don't switch off.
Yeah.
I think I wonder when I can spend my CP.
Yeah,
or,
have I got an Overwatch? Have I got have I got a reactive move? Have I got am I armoring content when you're doing this? Like,
I'm in there. I'm playing the game. But the problem GW have with this edition and the fact that the rules change all the time, and pariahs just come out, and there's balanced data slates, and there's rules changes, and there's news codexes, and all this stuff all the time, means that there is naturally a lot of questions to be had during game, before the game, during the game, throughout the game, of like, oh, can you just tell me that, and what about this, and what about the other? So I don't know whether the talking out thing can ever be addressed until chess clocks are implemented, which we all kind of like the idea of. But when I hear people saying they like chess clocks, it's often really good players who get frustrated by slow play. So like Ross is a good example there, saying he takes chess clocks. So like Ross goes to tournaments and does well, but Ross will know that he actually wants his opponent to play at the same speed as him, so they definitely finish the game.
Well, and what army was Ross playing at the weekend?
Yeah, World Eaters, yeah.
Okay.
Boom!
Yeah, it's easier to play. Let's be fair, it's easier to play, and this is not me having a dig at anyone.
It's not an easy army to play.
It's not an easy army, but it's easier to play on a clock, World Eaters, and certain other armies.
They're like Grey Knights.
Yeah, other than, and then people that take more time, your Eldar players, your Horde armies, your Grey Knights. It's less advantageous to play on the clock, isn't it? Because when you're playing on the clock, you want to be like, if you're playing Grey Knights on the clock, you actually want to spend a bit, like, Rich, I played the other night, amazing player, but his longest phase is always his movement phase. And unless you're really confident about what you're doing with that army in that situation, you could lose half your time, a third of your time on one movement phase with Grey Knights.
Yeah, true.
But with World Eaters, you might be like, right, well, I know that I'm going to stage up my 8-bound behind that piece of terrain, because you can think that through in your turn. Because with certain armies, you want to be the one that's pushing the narrative, don't you? You want to be the one that's pushing the game. Grey Knights are sometimes more reactive, so you need to see what I'm doing before you decide what you're doing. Whereas other armies are like, I'm going to do this, Custodes maybe, for instance. I'm going to do this. Kind of irrelevant what you're doing, because I'm going to make you play my game, which is easier to play that on a clock than it is to play a reactive game on the clock.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's another one of the issues, is that some lists just will find that advantageous, and others will find it a problem. And I think the other bit where the talking out, the chess clock thing gets shot down, is there's just such a broad variety of reasons as to why someone goes to an event. A lot of people just won't find that fun. They'll be a bit like, oh, do you know what, this is a bit too.
Do you know what? Do you know what it gets into me? And I know this is a terrible example, because everyone's like, the rolls are fine. Terrain. It gets in chess. No. So I'm just going to use it as a. So the chess clock is almost a little bit like the terrain rules, where everyone's got an interpretation of how you use it, but everyone does it slightly differently. So some people will just be like, if it's your turn, it's your turn. It's on your time, and any of my saving throws, well, then when we get to the other turn, it'll just switch itself over. So we're just. But other people are like, no, every time you roll in a dice, we turn the clock. Blah blah blah, and it's the same. And I know terrain isn't the same. I'm just making.
I get you. It's sense.
People are like, oh, that ruin does this and this does that. It's that sort of. Yeah. We know what the rules are, but there's this interpretation within those rules.
Yeah. I'd love to know from the chat what people. I agree, by the way, Liam. I'm not moving off that. I agree what you said. I'd love to know in the chat what people think should be done about what you should do then. So let's say I go to an event in the coming months.
Yeah.
And, it's reaching like turn 4. The time's going to be tight. We're probably not going to finish unless we really rush, which neither player wants. What do people suggest to do? And what were some of those characters in the chat? What would you do at an event? If you I guess the only option is to talk it out with some limited roles. I guess the discussion is kind of mentally taking me to a point where people don't like talking out, but I've not heard any suggestion or
There's nothing else you
resolution
can do
to it. Like, it's the only...
So what would you rather do? Talk a game out and lose by 2 points, or not talk it out and just get zeroed?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, innit?
Like, what's the alternative? There isn't an alternative that is a suitable response. The only alternative is to play the game as quickly as you can and as quickly as you are comfortable with. Try and get your turns in that time period. And if you both get to turn 5 and you've got 10 minutes left, both just go, look at each other and go, right, turn 5, we've both got 3 or 4 units left. Right, I'm going to score this on primary. I'm going to draw these 2 cards and do this. And that unit's over in the corner, so there's no point me shooting that. It's got no interaction with anything. That unit, if I shoot it, might make a difference, so let's roll that out. Right, we'll go on to your turn now. Draw your cards, see what you get, and let's see what the scores are.
Yeah,
Because when you go second, turn 5 is always literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
I'll stand there, that'll go there. Yeah. It's reached it's the end of the game.
It's winding down.
There shouldn't
by
be
that
loads
point.
of stuff left.
Yeah.
I guess that I was taking the mick out of Ross earlier for stressing me out on Saturday that we didn't have long left when we did. But I think that probably is actually a really good idea, is to communicate with your opponent throughout the game around how much time is left. So I imagine if you're on a top table at a tournament, it's like we're streaming UKTC, not this weekend, next weekend in Leeds. And I don't think any of the top games that we stream will go to time. I think those top games, the players know the lists, they know what their opponent does. They're not going to be going to.
Well, they know the moves before they make them, don't they?
Yeah, so it's
they plan their deployment on that. They planned where they're going to put their units on that deployment. They know what they're going to do if they go turn 1 against that army. Yeah. They know what they're going to do. So their first couple of turns are probably quite quick.
And they're not asking loads of questions because they know what each of the stuff does. It's a next bracket down where people have feel bads, where they're like, oh, I really wanted to go like 4 and 2, and now I'm going to go 3 and 3 sort of thing or whatever. It's that sort of area there where it's a tension point. I guess good advice generally, because I don't think the talking out thing's going anywhere, and I don't think chess clocks are going to... I mean, maybe there's a lot of chat around chess clocks. Maybe we go back to chess clocks again at a later date, but I just can't see a situation in which the talking out thing is going to be resolved. So maybe it is a case of regular announcements from the team of there's this amount of time left, and you just say to your opponent, you just keep an eye on the time. And if you're reaching a point where you're like, mate, I don't think we're going to have to finish, could you play a bit quicker? Or like, could we just try and speed this up because I'm concerned we're not going to hit time? Just so there's no surprises.
Yeah, I don't know if you instead of having a chess clock between the two of you have a game clock on the table.
Maybe it's just a general countdown.
You've got 3 hours, like start it, now we're playing. And you can look over and be like, look, mate, we've done 1 turn and we've done an hour. Like, we need to, between the two of us, make this, otherwise we're just not going to finish.
I mean, is 3 hours long enough to play Warhammer 40,000? It feels like it. 3 hours.
It's 3 hours, isn't it? I'm not being dim out there, am I?
No, it is 3 hours. Yeah. But that
includes deployment and everything.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes it includes setting the table up and the terrain.
Literally the most annoying thing ever.
That is the thing.
Terrain can get punted out the window.
We just play an open battlefield.
Play on an open board,
Just play the old world.
Yeah, just run at stuff. A hill got sank over. My land fort died because it rolled over a hill. I don't care. Like, just play it. Whatever.
I'm going to read some I'm going to pull some names out and read from the chat. Louis, hello, my friend. Good to see you at the weekend. And good to get a game in. In singles, it's less impactful to talk it out once they're a clear victory. In teams, it's super important to play out the game fully because even if you lose, your points matter a lot. That's a good point for teams. I didn't think about that for teams. I guess if me and Tom
turn it from like a 12-8 to a 14-6 and stuff, can't it?
Yeah.
And those 2 points actually make that 4-point swing makes quite a big difference in the overall standings, can't it?
Yeah. Louis, does that ever happen at teams events or like WTC events and stuff where talking it out becomes a thing, or is it? If you're at a WTC or a top table on a team event, do you just reach a point where it's not a thing?
Ross, mate, it's just.
What's is he trolling me?
Is he trolling me?
Right.
Right.
I'm gonna read this now. I've not read it. I'm gonna go straight in and read it, and you're gonna get some feedback, Ross. Paul, that's actually why I brought the speed thing up in a joking way. I think you were playing at a decent speed.
Decent, not good. Decent.
Interesting comment there. But sometimes I find it good to add a bit of urgency so we ensure we finish.
But then read his comment a bit further down.
Our game felt really close, and it would have been rubbish to not finish it it was tough. There you go. I'll take that.
Take that.
I'll take that.
But you lost. Did you lose?
I lost to Ross. Yeah. It was close though. I didn't get smashed by Ross, which was the aim of it was a team's event, wasn't it? So don't get smashed.
Yeah, don't get smashed by one
Yeah,
of
so
their
I thought,
better
that's
players.
okay. I play Ross. He's the best player on that team. Who I get next? Louis from the Mind Goblins. Oh, well, this is a laugh.
Great. Only 2 of the best players in the south.
I was
of the
like, all right,
country.
great. I was like, here we go. Who's next? Oh, look.
Who's next? Just serve up Vic. Why not just let me play Vic VJ then?
Dial him in. I'll play him on TTS.
Yeah, I'll play Manny Chima and Vic at the same time, mate. 2 computers going. Done it. Completed it.
I'll be fine. Val, you've said loads in chat, mate. I've not read anything else, so I'll grab this one. Chess clocks also advantage a horde as your opponent has to burn time to kill your horde. You just push the horde forward, so swings and roundabouts. That's a fair point. I guess it depends on the list, doesn't it?
I remember listening to someone talking about playing Green Tide and then them playing at tournaments and playing on the clock and basically being like, I basically forgo my shooting phase because I'm playing Orc, so it's irrelevant and it's a waste of time me rolling that many dice. So I'd rather spend more time on my movement phase and more time on my combat phase and just go, I'm not even bother shooting. Just move. Just keep moving. Because, you know, do you ever do that? And I do it sometimes. And you get like sort of, I don't know what the word is, like drawn into doing stuff. And you're like, there's no point me doing this, but I want to roll the dice. I want to roll some dice.
Yeah, well, that's why you play the game. Ultimately, why do we play Warhammer 40,000? It is to roll dice, because that's the only bit of the game that if you took away, we wouldn't play.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know what I mean? Well, I don't mean it as literally as that, but, like, it's the bit that's exciting is rolling the dice and getting the number. That's the buzz in it. It's kind of like roll the dice. Yeah. That's what you want to do.
If it was, like, automatic, like, if I move this here and that shoots that, it just dies. You'd be like, oh, that's a bit.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just kind of playing with toys. You know
you're literally.
If you're not rolling dice, you're playing with a toy.
Yeah,
with
it's
your
not
friend.
a game at that point, is it?
That shoots him, he's dead. You go, oh, he is dead.
Oh,
in fact, maybe the rolling of the dice is a bit that stops us feeling completely like children. Maybe that's the one thing.
Maybe that's why we're all so obsessed with dice.
Yeah, because it's the dice that let us feel like adults. If we take away the dice.
We're just men.
Yeah, because imagine me and you play a game now without dice, and I'm like, right, I'm going to shoot that, and you go, oh, it's dead. We're like, oh no, we are literally playing with toys.
Oh, he's just jumped behind the wall, so the bullets didn't hit him.
Yeah. Oh, I'll spend my CP doing so. Oh, I get it back. We are playing with toys, that way, but it's all a bit of fun. Louis says, don't know, mate, never been to WTC, but I think a lot of the world-class players are good players, know their armies well enough to just get the game done. Great to get the game at the weekend, mate. Thank you very much. Great to play you, my friend. Rob said, Paul, you need to get a tough run. You needed a tough run. Blame the Muppet that did the pairings. I think you did a good job with the pairings, Rob, despite giving me a bunch of absolute horror games, game after game after game. And Stephen, who's just joined the chat, was rocking backwards and forwards in a corner. Just kind of like, Rob was like, you'll be fine, just sending him in.
Steve, like,
yeah.
It's like sending the lion into the sheep into the lions. Then it's like, Steve, what we're going to do, right? You see that player over there, right? The really, really good one, right? You go and play him. Yeah. Steve, you go and play him.
But I'm just going to try and give... Oh, I can't do any more of this stupid thing. But don't worry, mate. We'll get you a drink if you're looking thirsty. All the best.
If your soul leaves your body, we will drive you home. It's all good.
We're just rocking. Steve, you all right? Yeah, good, yeah.
I like the fact that
Steve showed me his phone, and he sent a message going, she was like, how are you getting on, love? And he's like, not good. Lost my first game. And do you know what she sent? Clown emoji face. Even your missus, he showed me it.
Mate, to be fair, I like Steve because he's called me Handsome Liam.
Oh, that's nice.
I like that.
I want to be called Handsome Liam.
Well,
Peter's in the chat.
Peter's back.
Peter, people have been worried about you and asking around you, my friend. I hope you are good.
Look at how much a new army nerfed in 3 months. You instantly feel like an adult.
There was a comment Tideman saying maybe there should be sort of more time. And Howling Jimmy Jefferson, so take a lead from the team's event where the game score translates to an actual score based on a matrix. So if your game finishes turn 2, you still map to an equivalent score to someone who is 100-0.
Mate, this feels a lot like Duckworth-Lewis. If you know what that is.
Who's Ducky Lewis?
In cricket, there's a thing called the Duckworth-Lewis method. So if it rains, you can work the score out.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you could
Could be that.
We could do like Duckworth-Lewis.
Yeah, if someone's raining from their back.
The epic Flail scoring system.
And we can't call it epic Flail, we've got to call the normal man.
The normal man scoring system for 40k.
Yeah.
And we can make like a spreadsheet. Like if you get to turn 2 and it's like 37 to 15, like you can like extrapolate where it's going to go from there. And if you're already on 37 and they're only on 15, your curve's steeper than their curve. So the gap gets wider. Oh, my God.
And we'll sell it as an app.
Oh, we sell it in the app.
£5 a year.
Oh, yeah. And then GW can, like, take us to court for encroaching on their intellectual property.
That'd be the fun bit.
And me and James Workshop can have it out, and I can just scream objection at him constantly in court. Can I defend myself and be like law and order?
Of course you defend
like,
yourself. I've no doubt about
just
it, Liam.
Wander into the court and like slam the door open, just like stride in. I'm here, Your Honour. Let's take this corporate monster down.
And then they're like, this is court 3, you're in court 4. And you're, oh, sorry, everyone.
Stroll back out again.
I knew that. I'm practicing for 4.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honour. This is court 4. You're like, no, it's definitely 2.
Sorry.
TTV said, permed Paul and handsome Liam. TTV has also been trolling me about saying I've got a rubbish score at the weekend. Even that wasn't my score, TTV.
Liam and James Workshop fist fighting in a public car park. Both greased up, shirts off.
Like Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
In what do you call it, that film?
Mate, it's really warm in here. I'm getting a bit of a bead on. Are you?
Are you? I'm always.
I think it's because you aim your laptop at me. Like
yeah, you get sort of like a low-level fan blast. I don't feel like we've resolved this issue. It is all a bit of fun, my friend. I appreciate it. Somewhat, yeah. Oh, I'll say that after dark. It is a good subject because it is one of those like unresolved issues in the Warhammer 40,000 tournament scene.
I think it's like a lot of the issues within Warhammer that we talk about. I don't think there is, like, if there was an easy answer to it, it'd already have been done, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and there are so many tournaments, and like you would have thought someone is like, oh, we've got a system to stop the talking it out. And I guess the other sort of like side of the coin to play devil's advocate with it is, I don't know how huge. I mean, I generally don't know this. I just don't know how huge a problem it is. I've definitely heard stories from you and from other people in the community where you're like, there's been some bad talking outs. Like, there's been a bit of notoriety around people being like, oh, so we're not going to finish on time, so I'll tell you what's going to happen. And they sort of overpower their opponent a bit, you know, verbally and kind of like status-wise to be like, this is what's going to happen. And they go, okay. And it's like,
yeah, that's
probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
but like, do you know what I mean?
I think, do you think that so 2 points, do you think if chess clocks had always been a thing, we would have just accepted them and it would have just been part of the game?
Yeah, I think do
you think it just would have been part of the game? If every GW set that you bought, every like starter set came with a chess clock, and the rules were based around played on a clock.
Yeah. So for the game that shan't be named, that was absolutely like it would be so weird to not play on a clock. It would just be like, why are you doing that? Because the game, it's hard to explain, but the game favors putting pressure on your opponent to work something out. So like in the game that shan't be named, typically what happens is you give your opponent a positionally based problem to work out. Yeah. And they've got to work it out quickly. But the longer they take, the easier it becomes to work it out. Because obviously eventually you'll work it out. It's not an impossible puzzle. You'll work it out eventually. So the idea of the chess clock in the game that shan't be named, I'm just going to say it actually because loads of people watching War Machine, is like the idea would be a good player will work it out quickly. Yeah. So good players would also give their opponent quite complex problems to work out and let them burn the time. Yeah. So it was all like the chess clock was like wrapped up in the blood of the game. Yeah. So it totally made sense to have it. Even a casual game, you'd be like, let's play on the clock.
My second point would then be, if GW are moving this forward to be, we are going to make 40k a proper competitive game, we're doing all these tournaments, should they say that at these tournaments, you are using a chess clock? Each round is 3 hours, or you get 3 hours 15. You'll have 15 minutes between the two of you to talk your armies through. Then the TO blasts a little air horn, burp, burp, and you're 3 hours. Everyone, boop, like that, 3 hours on their clock. Go, and you start your deployment.
What I know from War Machine is that was really good for the hobby because it completely stopped feel bads. If you're like, there was literally no way to talk it out. It was impossible because chess clocks had to start at a certain time, and they always ended at a certain point. And the chess clocks were never. Someone always had more time than the other person. Yeah. So it genuinely made the game better, and it made the games tighter, and the games cleaner, and there was less arguments, and there was no feel bads. It was way better. There are some practical issues around the management of the clock, and people might forget it's on their time. But once that, generally speaking, you would work that out.
That as you play more.
You just instinctively do it.
You just instinctively do it. Since I started back playing the game and was using a clock for every game, what have I played? Like 100 games so far of 10th? I'd be good on the clock, wouldn't I?
Oh, you'd be amazing. But my point is, my worry with this discussion and to eliminate talking out is that Warhammer 40,000 as a rule set cannot be played on a chess clock because it is too complicated. It's not complicated as in, I can't work it out. It's complicated as in, so what secondaries have we got? I was trying to explain this to Rob the other day that like one of the challenges I have with Warhammer 40,000 as a game, not challenges playing it, just challenges like to really, really appreciate it more, is that there is just so much going on all the time. And it's not that my brain can't work that out. I likes working things out. It gives me dopamine. I enjoy it. But it's just exhausting.
So
every turn, every turn you have to think about 4 secondaries that you and your opponent, 2 each.
But how many times? So you've probably played less games than me, but still a decent amount of games.
I played a decent amount of time. Less than
how many times do you still forget to draw cards sometimes?
Oh, I did it the weekend.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I'm like, I get like halfway through my movement phase, and I'm like, I haven't even drawn any cards.
Yeah, and it's not because
imagine putting that on a clock and just being like,
I know exactly.
Now I'm panicking. I'm going to lose my job.
I've nothing left.
I've got nothing left.
I don't think the game is in any way suited to being played quickly, if I'm honest. I think it's a casual format. You can hang on, let me be careful. There's a lot of people in the chat. I'm sending in the chat. It's clearly a very good competitive game with a really strong competitive scene with people that are amazing at the game. Impressed, people playing at very high level and being impressive at the game. Oh, so mate, you've done really well. So that's not to belittle any of that at all. Yeah. However, the rule set, if you zoom out and we're like, let's assess this as how competitive. Let's assess the rules based on how competitive they are. It's not very competitive.
But are we?
Because the terrain rules are sketchy. You need constant rulings from different tournament providers to patch up that. We've got this whole issue that we're talking about today that there's no solution to.
So, and I don't want to offend anyone here, but you've got that level of player that are comfortable playing on the clock because they play at tournaments. Are we talking about upskilling the whole of the community, though? And saying to everyone, right, this now, from this point here, from the next data slate, every tournament is using chess clocks. And you've all just got to get better at it.
I think it'd be chaos.
But we've introduced other stuff into this game. Throughout the additions and throughout everything, we've introduced secondary cards now. And people, at first, it was like, this is a pain in the backside. But everyone's got used to it. Yeah, we have moments. Yeah. Like you'll have moments of a chess clock where you won't swap the time over and stuff. But at the end of the day, if we want the game to grow and we want to avoid... Because everyone's always talking about, we want to avoid feel bads. We want to avoid, people getting aggy. This is supposed to be a game for the community. Well, if there's something that can avoid that, what's the reticence in doing it? Why are we not doing it?
I think... Yeah, no, I agree with your point. I think it's not in GW's interest to push Warhammer 40,000 competitively to the point by which clocks are needed, because I think there are systems and games where that is a thing, and I think it would stress. I think the really competitive players that get annoyed by this as an issue would be like, it's fine, I'm very happy playing on the clock. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. But I think your normal man, not that those people are normal, but your normal man,
we're just normal men,
would find that like just on average a bit stressful and a bit annoying.
If it's part of the game, it's part of the game. If you're a normal man, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, no, it's good.
You're a normal man, yeah, but you've signed up to go to LGT, so you've got a level of going, I want to play this game.
Yeah, you know what you're in for.
At a reasonably competitive... I'm not going to LGT to go, I'm here for the lulls.
I'm here for the food.
Yeah, like...
It's going to run around the sports track.
I'm here for the porta potties. Like, woohoo! Like, yeah, like, you're going there because it's a super major and you want to experience competitive Warhammer. If part of competitive Warhammer is playing on the clock, then we've got to learn to play on clock, surely. And if it then avoids these feel-bads around running out of time or your opponent slow playing and some of the other stuff it eliminates, then I think that's what we've got to do as a community. But it's got to be, the whole community has got to do it. It can't be like, I'm playing 6 games this weekend. 3 of my opponents are playing on the clock and 3 haven't. And one of my opponents ran out of time and
Yeah.
would have been over their time, but they weren't playing on a clock, sort of thing.
I don't disagree with any of that at all. It might be the case that you actually, and this wouldn't go down very well, but you actually
Make
increase.
games with Geppetto faster.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Yeah, he'll give you a late night any game, any day of the
Any
week.
day of the week.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say then. Yeah, maybe it's a case of like, because 3 hours is enough to play a game of Warhammer 40,000, but it can be pretty tight. So maybe it's a case of just that increases slightly to like 3 hours 20, and it's on a clock. So you're like, look, you've got an extra 20 minutes to play with. Or maybe the terrain's already set up, because that's very stressful.
So just scroll
What's
up a
Vic
bit.
said, chess clocks becoming more normal is a brilliant development from competitive 40k.
Yeah, he said
But
something
the only
else as well.
solution is don't be a dick and or use a chess clock. If your entire gaming group can't meet criteria, one, you have to use a chess clock or problems are avoidable. Yeah, I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with any of that. I think that if the game, ultimately, if Warhammer 40,000 wants to be respected as a competitive, tight, rule-setting game, you have to eliminate situations by which, because here's the other thing that we've not really talked about that much. You can, if you know your opponent is fine with talking it out, you can, and you know the game better than them, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to win. Because you can create a turn-free situation where you're up. And do you know what I mean? It could be, you can manipulate it so.
Again, are we
so
getting
much.
into the realms of like, is that what you really want to do? Like, do you really?
Well, do you not think people do that though?
I think
you
people
know- do you-
manipulate rules.
We have seen
Like,
all sorts. Like last week, look at the cheating we were talking about last week in
Yeah.
that video. We literally had on stream a guy reading a rule differently on purpose. Like, we have seen some wild, wild cheating. We all know the stories, but like, do you not think that the
Yes,
talking it
and
out
this-
thing is manipulated?
Oh yeah, mate.
Like it's a bit,
do you
like, oh
not
mate,
think
you
that,
probably,
like,
well, that's
if
probably
we
dead.
wanted, and this is not me just being an arse again, but if I wanted to just talk over someone and talk enough nonsense to win a
Oh,
game
you
by
could
talking
bamboozle
it out,
anyone. You're
Yeah,
the You're the
exactly.
bamboozle king. You can bamboozle anyone.
I could do it, but that's not the point, is it? Well, I've come to play a game of miniatures, rolling dice, and I've
Yeah,
actually
but you're
just spent
sound. But there are
20
characters.
minutes
There are characters.
shouting at someone.
Yeah. There are characters out there that use that to advantage. So I think Vic's point, sort of, is right. That if this game wants to be taken seriously at a competitive level,
Yeah.
then introducing something that actually makes you more competitive. Because here's the other thing I know that Chess Clocks does from War Machine. You value your time.
yeah.
If you know that when that clock gets to 0, you're in trouble, you do two things. You're very precious with your time, and you also, I was renowned for clocking people by using the time to my advantage. So I would have sometimes have like a moderately based first turn, not use loads of time, back to my opponent, similar thing, and then just have a stressfully fast second turn.
Yeah.
Like bang, 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 there you go, mate, back to you. And they're like, whoa, hang on, the game's just sped up. And it's amazing how you can dictate the pace of the game. And
It adds another dynamic.
yeah,
into
and
a
an
game,
interesting dynamic.
which is a
It's
good
an
one to
interesting
add
dynamic.
as well.
Yeah, it's a
And-
psychology of the time.
Yeah,
and
I
really
think
getting
if
people
you're
to-
playing, like, not saying that it's not competitive, because it is, but if you're playing down like the king and queen in the league, you don't need a clock. You've got that evening there.
No.
The people are there to have relax and go and get a beer and, get a bit of food, have a chat around the room. Like, I'm terrible for it. I'll be like, it'll be someone's movement phase and I'll wander off and start chatting to people.
Oh, yeah. I'll be watching football.
Yeah, you're watching football on your phone. But if
Doing
you,
karaoke
I think
downstairs.
if you go to, even if they bring it in, it's like RTTs, fine, do whatever you want. GTs, if you're playing 2 days, 5 games or more, you're all on a clock. Whatever happens, you're on a clock. If you don't want to be on a clock, don't come and play then. We're playing on a clock.
Yeah, that's just in the rules pack.
It's in the rules pack. You're all playing on a clock. And if a TO walks round and sees you not playing on a clock, you get a warning or something. Because that's the only way that people are going to actually start going, do you know what? There's another dynamic to add to this game that I've now mastered my faction. So I've played 150 games with Grey Knights. I know exactly what I'm doing. Every single, whatever you do, I know what my reaction is to that. And I know where I'm going. And now I can work on that clock as well.
Yeah.
And I can move, like you said, I can dictate tempos of games. I can speed up. I can slow down. I can use strats. I can make you put something somewhere on purpose to make you think about something. Be like, oh, time's on you. And are you going to Overwatch there then, mate?
Yeah, well, again,
I've
you
still
do that
got
in War
the-
Machine. You'd be like, over do you want to do anything? Over 2, and you'd be like, you have to make a pressure decision now.
Yeah, I've still got these two to move. Are you going to
Yeah.
Overwatch that? Well, the time's on you, mate. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that's nice about that is when they say no and click the clock, decision.
Yeah,
It's
done.
not
You
then like,
can't
oh,
go,
mate, do you mind if
Yeah.
Actually, do you mind if I just deep strike that? I forgot to rapid ingress. I forgot to do that. It's like, well, no. Like, it gives like a...
Yeah.
The thing, though, I keep coming back to this. I've said this about 5 times already, so I'm sorry for repeating myself, but like, the
GW chess clock retail price 120 quid. It's so true as well. Isn't
Have
it?
you got the coin?
Have you got the limited edition chess clock?
Yeah.
With every chess clock, if you spend another 120, we'll give you 2 coins.
One of the coins is a chess clock.
I could keep going back to this, though, Liam, that like I agree with you 100%, but it won't work because 40k is too complex. There's too much. You have to be 11th edition. It would have to be a new edition.
Yeah.
And GW say, do you know what? We've now got a couple of versions of 40k. We've got the casual kind of like Maelstrom Crusade version where there's going to be a lot happening. It's a bit like a board game. It's a bit of a board game.
Yeah.
Because I think 40k at the moment feels like a board game. Tim was saying this to me the other day. It feels like a board game. Then you've got your kind of like, here's your competitive rule set, which is for tournaments and players that maybe want to do a league or just, play quite a tight game. It's a little bit more streamlined. So it's still got that complexity, but you get missions at the beginning, it stays like that. Because I think the extra mission, draw the thing, do this, do that. That just bloats the game. And the other thing that I think they'd have to sort out is the hyper-aggressive release schedule. Maybe they're never going to not do this. I feel stupid saying this already.
Yeah, I know what you
But the endless churn of rules means that
new
you go
models,
to an event.
new rules,
Yeah,
new
yeah, like
special abilities,
all the time.
all of this stuff, and then figuring out how that then interacts with everything else and just being like, oh,
and the other
my
again,
God.
we'll sum it up in a sec, but wrap it up. But the other thing to think about with chess clocks, the downside to chess clocks. So if we really wanted to eliminate talking it out and we wanted to implement chess clocks, so it was like the clock's the clock, mate. Like if you want to quit, but the clock's the clock. Like, I forgot what I was going to say again.
Well, I was just going to say something on that.
It was really wise
Do you think
as well.
that we
it
need
was
to
eternally
stop
wise.
being so nice in this hobby? Do you think, no, but at a competitive level, do you think we need to stop this? Oh, well, you've run out of time, mate, but I'll just let you play out that little bit. Because again, are we playing it competitively or are you not playing it competitively? Because if you're playing competitively,
I get what you're saying.
I can't say that word properly and everyone's going to take the...
Go on, what? Go on, say it again. Say it over and over again just so we can take the...
If you're playing to win...
Oh, Liam.
And then you go, oh, I am winning by 2 points. My opponent's run out of time, but I'll let them have like another 5 minutes just because I'm being nice. Oh, I've lost. Oh, well, that's my weekend done then, isn't it? Like, why have I done that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because I'm playing in the spirit of the game. Well, is the spirit of the game to win, or is the spirit of the game to
for giggles?
Yeah, like what? Why are we doing it?
Yeah, I think that you've reminded me of the thing that I was saying.
There you go.
You're a good lad. No, you smashed it. Is if you then bring in the chess clocks, it does create another area where people can manipulate. You still then, there's a certain etiquette you have to learn. There's a certain process that's before. So it does add another layer of and I know people in the chat have said like I like playing the chess clock. I check chess clocks to event, blah 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 blah. But they will no doubt come across people who like have never played on a chess clock, don't really want to play on a chess clock, and don't really know the system. So they probably forget to knock it back to you, or like do it on your time, whatever else. Or so it feels like a very difficult problem to solve. But I feel like the consensus from the chat and what we've been saying is that it does feel like there is an issue where something needs sorting out. Tim had just said earlier up that like maybe you just need more round time. There just needs to be more round time.
But again, I think it's then like Rob saying, 3 hours is more than enough. I think 3 hours is enough if you and your opponent both know your armies.
Yeah, agree.
If you're starting out and you're like, right, I'm gonna go and buy some Grey Knights. I'm gonna put Grey Knights on the table. I'm gonna put Demons on the table. I'm gonna put Thousand Suns on the table. 3 hours is not enough, is it?
No.
3 hours is not enough for yourself, let alone to play with another person, because you're sisters. You're figuring out how it works, and you're going to always have those practice games that are longer. I think if you then go to a competitive tournament, there's an expectation that you know your army well enough to be there, and unlike our mate last week, you know your rules, and you don't just make them up as you go. And B, you're there to play competitively. So you need to, if your round's 3 hours, you've got to play in the 3 hours, mate. It's not like football, is it? Where they go, oh, well, it's we're losing 1-0, but is it all right if we just have 10 extra minutes because we fancy?
Yeah.
We
And he
think
said,
we
you know,
might
we
score.
probably score. I think we've got some
probably
good
gonna
subs.
score
We've got
in
a
the
real good
next-
sub. We'll bring him on. So should we call
We've
it?
got
1-1?
Jermaine. We got Jermaine on the bench,
Yeah,
so
he's
let's just
gonna-
bring him on. He's always scoring.
He might even bang 2 in. So maybe we win. Actually.
Maybe we win. Let's give us the 3 points and we call it quits.
Yeah.
Just Harry Redknapp out there, just like trying to wheel and deal 3 points out of someone off a 2-0 loss. 2-0 loss, 85th minute. Harry's out there trying to wheel and deal a win somehow.
I've got something for you.
Just with Jermaine Defoe under one arm and Crouchy under the other.
Half the chat will be like, football, what on earth are you on about? Vic says, being a gentleman/woman isn't mutually exclusive with competitive play and the use of chess clocks. I love that the competitive community has become so much nicer to each other over the recent years. It does feel like a kind community. I mean, I
think there's certain individuals in it that are, and I've played like a couple of tables along from Vic at and you can see that, chilled fella, really nice guy. I've then played other players that are supposedly at that level and have been complete and utter.
You've had bad experiences.
And not bad, but I've had experiences where I'll be like, that's why I don't want to play at this level. Like, I don't want to play super competitively, top tables, because it's not an enjoyable experience. It's quite uncomfortable. And for me, my job's quite confrontational anyway. And this is, I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want drama. You don't want drama.
want
No one does really. I mean, a few people, I think, want drama at the table.
And it's like, and it's, like I've said, I'm quite an imposing person as well. If I'm at a table, if I start getting agitated, it's a bit.
Oh, you'll turn an head.
Yeah,
I've seen you getting fired up.
Mate, I did it the other.
King Queen Club, you're like Liam's having a pace. He's pacing.
Mate.
He's pacing. Everyone get away from him. He's pacing like a tiger in a cage. He's going to
push ups with the table in the corner. Like, get some anger out.
Paddy Mick, hello matey. Glad you're doing well, mate. Appreciate your contributions in the Discord.
I played a guy from Leeds with his grey knights. He was a bit sus.
Ross, listen, sunshine.
Ross.
We need to get you a membership so you can hear me chat about your game in a minute with me. We had a good time. The first one of my my gauntlet run at the weekend.
But no, it's been great to see loads of new names in the chat tonight.
Yeah,
as
a
well.
bunch of good people in the chat. Thank you
Really
very much
good
for people
chat.
that have joined us live. If you've enjoyed the show today, this is one to be fair, a lot of the stuff we talked about today is like an ongoing theme. Liam and I love talking about the like nuances of competitive play and the clash that exists between casual and competitive, and yeah, we enjoy.
Oh, don't!
Easy, we're calling the show.
We're
there.
doing that. We're doing that in a minute, mate. In the after dark.
I'm worried.
If you've enjoyed the show, please give us a like. And if you want more content from us, then consider being a member. It's only £2.99 a month. And you get
No
access to our Discord.
TTB. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with
you
the
just
old
literally
name.
interrupted me in the middle of my really well practiced pitch.
I'll pitch again.
It's
Have
only
you
two-
ever pitched a 10?
You literally just did it again.
It's like you
Mate,
with
I
that.
pitched
It's
a
like
10.
you with that intro button. Yes, that all over again.
Yeah, you just
It's
rocking.
me just interrupting.
Every time
you.
we start a stream, he's just like this. Absolutely kicking off. It's only £2.99 a month, and you get access to our Discord. You get 30 members videos. There's more and more Incursion strategy videos being imported over. So there's loads of stuff. So become a member. It's only £2.99. It helps us loads. You're always getting the love on this one. Jonathan Rose says, show's over. Have we run out of chess clock time? That's it, mate. We hit 0 on the chess clock.
If anyone's got topics they want us to chat about, drop them in the Discord as well.
Yeah.
Because
no, for sure.
you know,
We're always welcome to
me and
suggestions.
well, I say me and Paul. Paul comes up with these ideas every week.
Yeah,
I
Liam,
just say yes to whatever. He could go, let's talk about different types of bin bag, and I'll be like, yep, great topic, Paul.
yeah, he's like, do you know what? That's a hell of a topic.
That's a hell of a topic there. Paul, you've outdone yourself there, mate.
Sometimes I send you ideas for topics, and then in the process of saying it, I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever suggested, and then
Honestly,
stop, or like voice notes and stuff, and I'm like,
watching your text message, I can tell when you text me, because it's a Monday, it's always at the same time, and my phone goes bing, 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 bing. I'm like, yep, Paul's texting me. That's
Here he-
5 in a row.
Here he is.
Here he is.
I don't know why I
Four
do that.
different ideas for the 4 different ideas before I've responded.
And then as you respond, I go, oh, don't worry about it. I
Yeah,
won't
don't
say
worry about it, I've got something else.
Oh, Ross and Jim have joined the crew. Good lads. Appreciate you lads. Oh, yeah, the prank call I was going to do, that was up there. Anyway, let me...
Where's
Let me-
Tom Green just come from there?
yeah, the time. Yeah, let's take it to the after dark. Boys, thanks so much for joining us live. We appreciate you all. That's been a great chat. Thanks to people that have got involved. Please like and subscribe. Everyone that is a member of the show, in 2 minutes' time, you'll be able to click a link and come join Liam and I for the after dark, which is much more adult in nature. Liam and I let our hairs down. Okay, I let my
Alright,
hair down. Sorry,
Jesus.
mate. I said it and then sort of realised as I said it.
What are you going to do? Straighten your perm out?
People think it's a perm.
Mate, that looks like a 70s going on over there.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? Get
Get
me
some
hairy.
straighteners. Can we straighten it one day?
I've got pictures of me with straight hair. It's bad. Telly's seen them. It's not good. The link will be in
Telly,
the
find them.
the
Telly,
link-
find them.
The link,
Discord Telly.
the link will be in the channel on YouTube under live. Any second now when I click it. So jump over and join us there, and it's also it'll also be on the Discord as well. So yeah, cool. Thanks for joining us, Liam. Good chat, my friend.
Cheers, guys.
We'll be back. I think I'm doing a show on Thursday. I'm not doing a stream, but I'm going to do I'm doing an Old World show. Thursday we're doing an Old World show with Liam, other Liam, and Rob, and then we are back for Monday. You're not with me though. I don't think
Yeah,
you're
I've got
away.
a couple of weeks now where I'm away.
You're off for 2
holiday
weeks.
and stuff, yeah.
And then the weekend after that, I'm streaming at the UKTC in Leeds. So join us for 2 full days of streaming.
Leeds.
Appreciate you all, folks. See members in the After Dark.